Here we are again for another episode of the BAM Biz Talk podcast. And today, I have a very special guest who is going to teach us about our brain, body, and how it all works together. Welcome, Ms. Jeanette Frantz.
Thank you, Angel. It's a real pleasure to be here this morning with you. I appreciate you having me on the podcast.
Absolutely. I'm excited because there's so much you have to offer. Your company is Best Brain and Body.
Absolutely. Yeah,
And
that's correct.
that is what you do.
That is what we do.
You make people's brain and body work together for their best interest and their best selves.
Absolutely.
So there's a lot to dissect here because you do a lot.
Yeah, there is a lot of components to our programs, actually.
For sure. And I think your story and your expertise in the field, it's like you just didn't wake up one day and decide, I'm going to help people, right?
Oh, no.
This is like your life's purpose, your life's mission is to help people out in some form or the other. And just from personal experience, you and your husband, Gavin, are constantly wanting to help.
Yes.
Contribute, lend a helping hand. What can I offer? Let me know. And you're always there doing it, and it's genuine. Because when I actually say yes, you're like, okay, great, let's go. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's refreshing.
Yeah. Gavin and I both, and probably that's one of our great compatibility points. We have that heart. Mm-hmm. So for him and us to be on the same page is really very important to me, mm-hmm. and very important to him too. But we have, and especially as we've gotten older, mm-hmm. have learned to appreciate and value all the wonderful help that we had coming up in our lives. And we're at a place where it is a real joy and a real pleasure to be able to start giving back and sharing our wisdom and knowledge. Because we, like you said, didn't just wake up one day and said, oh, wow, I think this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
No, we have had years of accumulating our knowledge and the wisdom that we have and the heart that we have to help people. Yeah. That came from others who were so generous to us in our own lives. And so it's time for us to put some of that out there for others too, and to share that gift.
For sure. I think that's a beautiful thing to your business.
Yeah.
Comes from the heart.
Yes,
right?
It comes from the heart.
It has a heart
absolutely
purpose.
Does. It has a heart purpose.
You're not chasing, your purpose. You have the purpose, and you're putting that purpose out there.
Yes.
And you're on a mission.
Yes.
So let's dig in. What's your history? How did I know that you were a nurse for quite some time.
Yes.
What was that journey, and how did that transition? How did that transform you into doing what you're doing now?
Well, thank you for asking that question, because it is foundational to what I'm doing right now, or my piece of our business. Gavin's is different. He brings a whole different skill set to our business, but I bring the health side of it to our business. Being a nurse for 27 years, going on 28 now, I worked in all areas of nursing. I've worked in cardiology. I've worked in mental health. I actually taught mental health classes when I was teaching. Taught just basic skills and the foundational classes for nurses. But I've worked in all areas of nursing, including the ICU and occasionally the ER. I have less experience in the ER than any. But in 2019, when this thing called COVID-19 hit, before we even knew what it was, my whole family had it. And to say that it devastated me and my son and my granddaughter is an understatement. They are much younger than I am, so they recovered much quicker than I did. But for me, it was a long journey, and I never did fully recover. I lost my stamina. And I had told a coworker one day, and I don't think I really even understood what I was saying at the time. It feels like I've lost my integrity.
Entrepreneurs and small business owners, are you searching for ways of taking your business to the next level? BAM is your answer. We specialize in crafting high-performance marketing strategies that put your brand front and center, right in the palm of your customers' hands. Not only can we create a premium website full of features that optimize your social media and digital marketing presence, but we ensure that your brand gets multiple views from your target audience and even those visiting your competition. BAM is your go-to solution in the Permian Basin. But we're not just about digital and social media marketing. We're a one-stop shop offering a spectrum of services, including business mentorship, strategic planning, market research, and access to capital. That's right. We can get you funding to expand your business. With BAM, you're not just getting a service, you're gaining a partner committed to your growth for the life of your business. Our team of experts in small business development will be with you every step of the way, offering the guidance, support, and services you need. So why wait? Kickstart your journey to success today. Call us to set up a free consultation and discover how BAM can help your business soar above the rest. 432-247-8840. Call today and get your business launched. The BAM Biz Talk Podcast is brought to you by our sponsor, Pachuco's Restaurant. Craving authentic and eclectic cuisine in Midland? Well, Pachuco's has you covered. Located in downtown Midland at the ever so legendary and iconic historic building at 316 North Big Spring Street, Pachuco's blends rich and unique flavors in a conveniently pleasant and vibrant atmosphere. Enjoy the highest quality barbecue, savory tacos, burgers, and a variety of other mouth-watering dishes that reflect the spirit of a true Pachuco cuisine. Real, authentic, and just plain different. Check out their menu at www.pachucos432.com or call 432-218-8806 to inquire, or better yet, just show up and get your shine on. At Pachucos, where heritage, exquisite taste, and hospitality come together for an unforgettable dining experience. Pachucos, Midland, Texas.
Contact us for podcast sponsorship opportunities.
Now back to the show.
Not my integrity in that I was telling the truth, but my body integrity. Things were just not right in my body.
Yeah.
And when I would go to the doctor, there was not much to offer.
Right.
Because we didn't know still much about the effects and the long-term effects of COVID.
Yeah, I remember getting sick as well, not knowing. I'm like, what is this?
Yeah.
This is so weird.
Yeah.
Go to a doctor and they're like, well, we don't know. You
Yeah.
don't have anything.
Yeah,
What do you mean I don't have anything. I mean,
We didn't have the research. We didn't
Right.
know what the long-term outcome was going to be.
No.
Long story short, I began to research because I knew I was not going to be able to work in the hospital anymore. I didn't have the stamina to do it. So I began to research, how can I transition into something where I can still be in alignment with my life's purpose and use the skills and the knowledge that I have and not lose that or throw that away and just start all over from scratch. Health coaching just kept coming up. The longer I researched and thought about it and prayed about it, it just kept coming to me. And I began to research classes where I could start somewhere. But through that was my own healing. My gut had taken COVID took a terrible toll on my gut. I had major gut issues and consequently inflammation, depression, skin rashes. I had all of that after COVID. And the more I researched, the more I realized my gut was in trouble. So that's where I started. I enrolled in a class in Institute for Integrative Nutrition. That was a year-long class for me. I took that, got my certificate in that. And oddly enough, Dr. Daniel Amen was a presenter in one of my classes there. And as soon as I heard him speaking on brain health, I knew where I was going with my coaching.
Saw the light.
I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Okay.
So I enrolled in his classes and spent another year getting a certificate through Amen University. And here we are with Best Brain and Body, trying to share that knowledge and those skills that we've learned through Dr. Amen and IIN, because nutrition is a huge part. And I can, with great pleasure, say my health is finally back on track. I am doing very, very well compared to what I did after I had COVID in 2019, finally. And that's a long journey.
Yeah.
But it's been well worth it.
Sometimes we have to go through that to guide to where we need to go.
Yes. Yes.
So if you wouldn't have had that experience of getting COVID and it wrecking you, then what would you have had to build, and learn?
Yeah.
But the beautiful part is you're in your lane.
I'm in my lane.
You're a nurse, and you want to help people.
Yes.
And you've helped yourself.
Yes.
And now through that experience, you've taken classes, year-long classes. Wow.
Yeah.
I
And they
mean,
were hard classes. Dr. Amos' classes were hard classes.
you have to integrate all the different things
Yes.
and make them make sense as
Yes.
like an ecosystem,
Yes.
right? Because we are an
Yeah,
ecosystem.
we are an ecosystem. So many people, and I think in Western medicine, we have done this a little bit. I don't think we did it on purpose. It's just the way it has played out. You have a heart specialist, you have a gut specialist, you have a brain specialist, you have an orthopedic. But the reality is, all of those systems work together to produce our health.
Yes, 100%.
100%.
So like a business.
Yes.
Right. You have these different portions that tend to be isolated, and in business we call them silos.
Yes.
So they're operating in their own little silo, and their whole world consists of that little silo, as if it has no effect on the rest of the organization.
Right.
But a business itself is its own ecosystem within ecosystems, within ecosystems in their own bodies, or ecosystems within ecosystems, right? But still work together.
Right.
They are its own separate entity itself, but it has an influence and an effect around.
Now, the interesting part for me was all of those systems communicate with the brain, and the brain communicates back with all those systems.
Central command system, right?
Central command.
Yeah.
So I wanted to learn more about the central command and how it actually truly does interact, not just for dementia, or not just for bipolar, or not just for depression. How does it truly interact with all of our body systems?
Yeah.
And that's part of what I've learned. I will say this, I've scratched the surface in that learning, because man, the research that's coming through now and the more we're learning, it's just incredible to me.
Yeah.
How much we're learning about the brain. The brain has been the mystery organ, but we are getting the research, and it's good, clear research about how it truly works and how it communicates with the rest of the body.
And you're incorporating what you're learning, what you've learned, what you're learning currently now, and you're still continuing to learn.
Oh, yeah.
And this is your business.
Yes. Right? Yes, that is my business.
So tell us about the business aspect. What are the pillars of your business?
Okay. So the pillars of our business, we have 4 areas of the life that we look at and we assess with you. Actually, you assess them once you come on board with us. It's the biological, the social, the psychological, and the spiritual. So those 4 areas of your life, we will look at those with you and then help you set goals. If you look at part of that and say, oh, well, I don't have a social life. We'll sit down and we'll work with you to set a goal. It will always be what you want to do. Let me say that. We never tell clients what to do. Now, we may challenge you.
Yeah. We're a coach.
Yes, we're a coach.
At the base of it all, you're a coach.
We're coaching.
Okay.
Now, we may challenge you to think differently.
You have to as a coach.
And hold you accountable to what you have told us you want to do.
Yes.
But we will never tell you what to do. We will never try to control what you do.
Right. You're working out for the best path forward.
Yes.
To reach the goals.
Because this is your self-development.
Yes.
This is what we can do to help you reach your full potential, your full self-development, your empowerment. Right. That's what we're working towards all the time, helping you achieve those goals that do those things for you.
And the full 360 perspective, with those 4 pillars, and that's interesting because the biological, for sure, that's that's there, right? And then you have the social, which is you have to have connection.
Yes.
But what I find interesting is separating the psychology from the spiritual. That's an interesting separation.
Yes.
Right, because there are also people that would argue, like, what's the difference?
Well, the psychological can go into depression. So we know this. If the spiritual is out, the psychological can be out of balance too. If the spiritual is out, the biological can be out of balance. If the biological is out, the spiritual can be out of balance. They all, just like the body, all 4 spheres work together to create a higher functioning, if you will, human being. So we dig into all of those areas so we can more fully integrate and coordinate your function within that. Depending on, you might look at it and say, I'm here with this, but I'm way okay with that. We're going to say, okay. we're also going to do a little education about how staying at a lower level might impact the other areas of your life. Does that make
Yes.
sense? So spiritually, if you're out of balance spiritually, and that's very different. I'm not talking about religion here. I am
Okay.
not talking about religion.
Okay, good.
I'm talking about spirituality, your own connection with that higher power, whatever that higher power is. We don't tell you what that is.
Right.
We do that's for you to figure out.
Uh-huh.
But if you're not happy with that connection, or if that you feel like maybe that could improve a little bit, and maybe that needs to improve so you can get the social going here, or that needs to improve so you can have a better relationship with food and yourself. Because believe it or not, that spiritual very much affects how you think about yourself and how you approach your daily living.
Okay.
Has a profound effect on it.
Yes.
And so we kind of help delve into those areas and help you optimize and coordinate all four of those spheres so that you get a higher level functioning and a better outcomes, if you will, in your own life. We are outcomes focused coaching.
Yes, because that's what it's about, right?
Right. It is what it's about, helping you reach your goals and helping you become more empowered in your own self-development and growth, helping you get to where you want to be.
Yeah, like your line right here is lifestyle coaching to fit your health and wellness goals.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So yeah, you're assessing
right
where a certain individual is.
Yes, we're not ethereal in all that we do.
It's practical.
It's practical interventions and education and goals that we use to help you get to where you want to be.
Yeah, and then you can provide resources.
Yes.
You teach classes.
Yes.
Seminars.
Yes. Yes.
Like even where you provide supplements.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So like I can't wait to try these.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, look at that list on the back. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
I want to brag a little bit about these supplements, okay?
Let's brag.
I could not take fish oil. I couldn't take it. I would burp it. It would give me heartburn. I just could not take it. And when I started taking these supplements, I had no heartburn. I had no burping. I had no, I couldn't even tell except for that my energy got better, my focus got better, my brain fog got better, and my labs got better for my happy cholesterol, your HDL cholesterol, which is what I call your happy cholesterol. Yeah, okay. Because it helps protect your heart and your vessels. Yes, and your brain. It is huge.
It's fatty, right?
Yes, it's fat. It's those omega-3s are the healthy fats that your brain desperately needs to feed on and to have the energy that it needs to function like it needs to function. When I did I thought, now why is this that this fish oil doesn't affect me this way? They actually purify 2,700 impurities out of this fish oil. Yeah. So I suspect what was causing me the issues in my body was impurities.
Yeah.
And so they just went to great lengths to make this fish oil absorbable and best for your body. And this was before I graduated. This was with my certificate. But I'm telling you, their supplements are wonderful and they have made huge difference in my life.
And you know that
in my husband's life.
And the overall it's helped
in my daughter's life. We all take those supplements and they have been huge game changer for us in our daily lives.
Yeah. And that is kind of a problem in the supplement world.
Yes, right? It is.
A lot of companies just throw it together, it's impurities, it's toxic. What else is coming? What kind of binders are they using for it?
Yes.
What are you taking exactly? Just because you're saying, oh, I have omega-3 fish oil.
Yeah.
Is that really what you need for your body?
Yeah. Right? Or how many of those impurities are still in there that affect you negatively?
Yeah. And then there's only so much. Everything you read online it's a marketing propaganda.
Yeah, it is.
So who do you believe out there? Who do you believe? But if you have a nurse who's been a nurse for 28 years, and you have been studying this, and this is what you do, well, you're the authority figure, and by doing the research and direct experience, the good stuff to take.
I have to share this a little bit. We were in a class where we were learning about the supplements, and the director over the program came on, and she's a PhD, and she was like, sometimes I get so frustrated because I tell Dr. Amen, you can do this a different way and it will be faster and easier and not as costly. And he's like, nope, we're going to do this the right way. And so I was, by her testimony about how picky he is about his quality standards. And then we interviewed another gentleman that's been with him. This man, Dr. Kidd, he just was the most brilliant person I've ever heard speak about supplements. And he's actually the one who helped Dr. Amen put the combinations of supplements together for the brain, for different areas of the brain, because different areas of the brain needs different types of supplements. And so he helped formulate some of these different formulations that Dr. Amen tells about. When I listened to the quality process it all goes through, to the research they did before they did this, the research they used to do this, I was just amazed, and I was sold.
Yeah, and that's how it should be done.
Yeah,
the right way.
Yeah, and so, but the proof was really in how it made us feel.
100%.
And how my lab results, how it made us feel, the benefit we got from taking them on a daily basis. Yeah, because all of that can be in place, but if it doesn't agree with you and you can't take it, it's, what are you going to do?
It could make things worse for you.
Right. It can make things, and especially if you're not taking the right thing, it can make things worse for you. And we learned from our classes and through Amen, there's an expert on staff. We can call her or email her about any question we have about supplements. And she's right there. And she gets back with us immediately. I called her one day and left a voicemail, and within 5 minutes, she had called me back. Because I had a 13-year-old that the mom wanted to start him on a supplement, but it had GABA in it. So I was not sure if a 13-year-old should take GABA.
Yeah.
And so she called me right back, and she gave me everything I needed to know to tell that mom about that supplement.
There you go. That's
so
what you want.
We have that support through them. We're not just out here on our own. We do have that support through Amen. And we also highly encourage our clients. We will go with them on their doctor's appointments.
That's awesome.
If we recommend something, we highly suggest that they take it to their doctor and say, hey, is this something that will benefit me or not?
Right, because you work in line with the doctor.
We work in line with the doctors. We're not out here. I'm a nurse. I can't diagnose, but I can make recommendations for you to take it to your doctor. And is this something that will benefit you?
For sure. And
I will go with you to your doctor's appointment if you want me to. I have one client that he's finished his program now. He was with me for 2 years. I'm sorry, a year and a half, and he finished his program, but I went with him to all of his doctor's appointments. He had several different doctors, and what we were able to do was really coordinate his plan between his physicians. And if there were medications that were overlapping, we got the clarification. We got his meds kind of squared away, with the exception of one doctor that just kind of didn't want to make changes. Now, and what I helped him do was he moved from the area. This is Jerry. He's a dear friend of mine now. Yeah. We just have a very close relationship still, he and his wife, and I love them. They're wonderful people, but they bought another house in the Dallas area. And so I helped him find a physician that could meet his particular needs.
Yeah.
And so that's some of what we do based on people's individual needs. I will say this. We do not take the responsibility for people who are able to do those things. He was not able to do those things, and so I did that for him.
Gotcha. Okay.
But we're not creating dependence on us.
Yes.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely. Right.
So there was a judgment that I made because he's an elderly gentleman and his wife is too.
Yeah.
And so I made a judgment call about that, about whether to find him a doctor in another area or not. And helped him do that. Now, if you're 30 and able-bodied and clear-minded and all, that's probably
best that they do.
Best that you do that and coordinate that for yourself, because we're not looking to create dependency.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the way I see this is in, those 4 pillars. Yeah, I find that interesting, because your 4 pillars that you have, right, that you assess through, right?
Right.
It's the ecosystem. I feel that is a tool for self-empowerment
Yes.
of individuals. So you're coaching self-empowerment through the avenues of health.
Yes.
And these the spheres of health.
Yes.
Of the biological, the social, the psychological, and the spiritual. That it creates a self-empowerment ecosystem.
Yes.
Like, how do I improve this health-wise? Okay, well, let's see where you're at.
Right.
And give you the tools to get there.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is another part of my nursing experience coming into play here, because as a nurse, you don't ever do anything without assessing first. I mean, that's where you start. And then you plan based on what the client needs. And then you implement based on their goals and where they are. And I will say this, we will meet you where you are.
Yes. Yeah.
And we don't talk down to you. It's like I used to tell my students in the classroom, if you don't know, you don't know.
Right.
There is no stupid question. There is no, you just are where you are. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
And we will meet you where you are and bring as much knowledge and wisdom and empowerment to you is what we possibly can as coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's what a coach does.
That is what a coach does. Yeah.
If somebody comes in here to BAM, that's we meet the business where they're at.
Right. That's what you have to do.
What have you done so far? Where are you at?
Right.
Do you have everything in place to go to your goals?
Right.
Right. Because if you're not prepared to go after your goals, well, you don't have a high chance of achieving.
That's right. And that's a good point, Angel, because one of the ways that you can get the most out of coaching is come committed.
Yes.
And some people come to us, they don't even know where to start. And that's okay, because our assessment is there to help figure some of that out. But if you're not committed, we can't do it for you.
Right.
We can educate you. We can encourage you. We can give you tools to help reach your goals. But if you're just really not committed, then we can't help you. I did have a client that came to me, and she came a few sessions, but she found herself rescheduling every session. And I finally had to say to her, do you really need this? Do you really want this? And she left and she said, I was up to 2:00 this morning thinking to myself, I don't want this. This is not something I need to be doing right now. And so we've refunded her money.
Oh, wow.
But she had paid for a whole 6-month program. And I refunded her money because it was either she didn't need or she wasn't ready to address, because there were some needs. We had identified some needs.
Yeah.
But a person has to be ready to address those needs. And if they're not ready, we can't help you, basically.
Right.
So the way you can get the most is come with the desire to help yourself.
Yes.
Be honest with yourself. And I was so glad, because I keep asking this lady questions, and she finally was very honest with herself.
There you go.
And so it takes that self-honesty to get the most out of coaching.
Yeah.
And then come prepared if we give you homework, and there will be things that we give you to do between your coaching sessions. Come prepared. Now, having said that, we do know that if you're working, that there's a lot of times a huge strain on your time between balancing work and family and just life in general.
Yeah.
So it's not like you're not like in a classroom where we're going to say, oh, you fail. Yeah, that's not it. Yeah. We will work with you to carve out and to help get the balance in your life to be able to take care of you too.
Okay.
Because is it okay to go through your life meeting everybody else's needs and wants and demands from you, but leaving you out of that picture? Is that okay? I don't think so.
Yeah.
And a lot of people may do that and not even realize, because they're saying, well, this is for me. This is for my family. Where are you in that picture?
Yeah.
Are you just getting a paycheck? Is that it?
Right.
Is your whole life? Is that your whole life? So we hope you look at those areas, those 4 areas of your life, and get some balance in that. And when I say come prepared to your coaching session, come prepared to have time that's just yours,
Yes.
specifically set aside just for you.
Presence.
Presence.
Yeah.
That's a great word.
You have
That's
to
a
be
great
present.
way to describe that.
And you know,
Angel.
I think that's a issue with throughout that pervades people's lives.
Yes.
You know, presence.
Right.
Because we're either living in the past or we're looking in
Mhm.
the future.
Yes.
But what about right now?
Right.
You know,
Right.
and your power is right now.
Your power is right now.
Right now is all that exists.
Yeah, you're right.
There is no past. There is no future.
That's
right?
exactly right.
I mean, it's not a linear
Yeah.
thing, you know, it's right now.
Right
Everything
now.
is right now. So
Yeah.
if you're present in the right now, in the moment,
Right.
that's where there's
Yes.
a book out there, right? The Power of Now.
That's exactly right.
Totally, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's been a while since I read it down.
Yeah.
I need to throw it back on the rotation.
Yeah, it's a good book,
It's a good
actually.
book, yeah.
Yeah, I've read that book. It's a good book.
Absolutely.
So when you come for your coaching session with us, look at it as this is just time for me,
Mm-hmm.
and everything else can fall away. It's your let's take a deep breath.
Yeah.
Let's get centered,
Yes.
and let's spend some time with yourself and with your coach, who can help you become more present, if you will,
Yes.
and not leave you behind or leave you out of your own life.
So like it's when that moment of self-reflection.
Yes.
So much, you know, when I find that when we do it, we don't go all the way down.
Oh, it's very, yeah.
It's not easy.
It's not
Right? And
easy.
if you're not present, you're not doing it.
That's exactly
You know,
right.
and when you do something like that to get benefits out of it, you just don't want to scratch the surface.
Right.
You want to deep dive
Right.
because that's where the real work is.
That is where the real work is, and that's where the real magic happens.
Yes, the magic happens.
Yeah, that's where that real change, that long lasting, oh, I've got this in my life now.
That's the alchemy of it.
Yes, that is
right?
the alchemy
You're
of it.
transforming this lead into gold, right?
Yes. Yes.
It's a spiritual analogy, right?
It is a spiritual analogy, and that is part of addressing that spiritual sphere that so impacts the other three spheres.
Mhm.
They all do equally, but if your spiritual is out of tune, we'll help you tune that up.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's the deep dive. It's getting that deep sense of presence with yourself, if you will, with God, if you will, or whatever your higher power, whoever your higher power is, the universe. We don't tell you who that
Right.
is.
The great pumpkin head.
Yeah,
You know,
whoever you're in attune with, we help you get in that presence at a much deeper level.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's what true healing comes out of that. And I will call it healing.
Yeah.
It changes the whole brain, and we have the research now that shows that kind of deep dive and meditation or prayer, if you will, actually changes the chemistry and the
Yes.
structure of the brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because our brain is malleable.
It is malleable.
Yeah, and we can do it.
Yeah, and we want to preserve that.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to lose our neuroplasticity. That's
There you go.
what that malleability is called. We don't want to lose that. And you can keep that. We used to believe that as you aged, you lost that.
Mhm.
But that is not true. Research has shown that is not true.
Uh-huh.
You can keep that pretty healthy
Right.
throughout your lifespan. I used to hear this lifelong learning. Yeah, I'm a lifelong learner. And I used to even say it myself, but I didn't know what that meant.
Ah,
Other than, oh, I'm just accumulating all of this knowledge, you know. No, it affects your body.
yes.
It affects your brain.
Mhm.
Lifelong learning is one of those things that builds reserve in your brain.
Mhm.
And it's true, as we age, our brains do change and we
Sure.
begin to lose reserve. But you can change or slow that progression down with your lifestyle
Mm.
and by creating great reserve as you're aging. If I could coach 20-year-olds, there'd be some things I would tell them. Or if I could go back and tell my 20-year-old self,
Mhm.
there'd be some things I tell them, change this so that
Yes.
when you get here,
Yeah.
you're still
Mhm.
vibrant with your brain function and with all your body functions.
Yes, no, 100%.
Yeah.
You know, because I've been a meditation coach for 20 something years.
Oh, wow.
And I attribute that,
Yes.
my meditation practice, to me still being able to think today, because I put my brain through some heavy damage.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been,
Yeah.
just accidents, and just it's I shouldn't be as cognizant as I am. But meditation, it's focus,
Yes.
oxygen.
Yes.
Right? We're talking earlier about oxygen, how oxygen helps your brain and feeds your brain and your body, and
Yeah.
what's needed. And you have a story, right, of a patient that was having breathing issues.
Yes.
Run us through that. That was very interesting.
Yes. I had a patient come to me. He's an older gentleman. He had COPD. And he said, somebody recommended me to him, and he called and gave him my number, and he called me. It's Jerry.
The same gentleman.
That's the same gentleman,
Awesome.
yes. But he was concerned about his lung function. And when I first started working with him, I said, okay, we're going to work on your brain function. He said, but you're helping me with lungs, right? And I was like, yes.
Right.
This breathing that I'm teaching you to do, the exercises that we're doing, because we would exercise together 3 times a week. And it would be for stamina for him, and to build blood flow for him. And he didn't quite understand it. But here's the thing. Your brain is 2% of your body weight, and it uses 20% of your oxygen level.
It's an overachiever.
It's an overachiever. So if his oxygen saturation levels went to 78%, his brain was starved. So I had to make him understand this anxiety that's making you go when you're at 78% is starting here, because this is starved for oxygen.
Right.
So let's calm this down. Let's bring that anxiety level down. Let's breathe through
Get
this.
some oxygen.
Yeah, get that oxygen to the brain so that anxiety calms down. When he finished his program, when we started, his recovery time for the loss of oxygen was anywhere from 2 to 4.5 minutes.
Wow.
It was a long time, because
Yeah.
he would just sometimes be so panicked that he couldn't get and the more you panic,
The harder it is.
the faster you breathe, the less oxygen you take in. Because you're just, there's no exchange happening there. And he had limited exchange anyway because of his COPD. But he made the connection. He got that finally when I was telling him, this is what's needed. You thinking this needs it.
Right.
This is what it's needed, because it's driving that anxiety. So he finally was able to, and very quickly, get into his recovery breathing and recover. I think the last measurement I took was like 30 seconds. He went to recovering his saturation levels very quickly. Yeah. He learned how to breathe through that, control this.
That's the crucial aspect.
That is the crucial aspect of it.
Yeah, because if you can get in 30 seconds as opposed to 4 minutes,
right,
you're not doing damage.
Right.
Which is 4 minutes, you're
doing
some damage.
And that's why I told him when I first started timing, I was like, oh no, this has to improve. Let's start here. Let's start with your breathing, because this recovery time, it just has to improve. This can't go without oxygen that long. Yeah. And so he did so well. I have to brag on him a little bit.
Yeah.
He just did so well in the program. He also had a cardiologist, and she told me the last time I went with him that she had never seen his labs so good. She had never seen him functioning as well as he was functioning since she had been seeing him. And so I have to brag on him a little bit, because he's the one who took everything that we suggested and ran with it. Every single thing.
He was committed.
Every single thing. He never missed his appointments. It had to be something dire before he missed his appointments. And he was just committed to his health and well-being. And he did every single thing we asked him to do, and it paid off. Yeah. It paid off. We were able to discharge him, and I think he was pretty happy with his results. I think he got to where he wanted to be. He can be up and walk around now, and he still goes to his business. He has his own business at home, and he goes out to his gun shop. He has gun shop, and he goes and works in his gun shop. Yeah. When they're here, they split their time between Dallas and here. but I think he's very happy with his outcome.
Yeah.
And he wrote us a great recommendation, and in that he said, we Best Brain and Body saved his life. Our coaching
Wow.
saved his life, and he felt that way about it.
Yeah.
And it was a journey, but I can tell you, this man was totally committed to everything we told him to do and stuck with it.
Yes.
And his wife fully supported him too, and that's crucial too.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you have family or a spouse, their support is crucial.
Absolutely.
It does have an effect. Now, not that we can't coach you through. I've had some situations where the support wasn't there, and we can coach you through how to be true to yourself and still manage that, if you will.
Right. But when you have the support.
Oh, yeah. That's,
so much.
Yes, it is just so much easier when you have that support. And his wife was totally supportive.
Yeah.
You know, she changed the way she cooked. She incorporated the healthy recipes we took her into what she cooked for him. Yeah. And they just did everything we asked them to do. And it paid off.
It paid off.
It paid off.
You know, my father told me years ago, doesn't matter what program really you're going to go in, but whatever one you choose, buy into it.
Right.
Sit in it and go with it.
It's crucial to your outcomes and to your well-being.
Commitment.
Right, commitment.
You know, it's not just when there's a program, say, oh, I'm going to be committed to this program. It's not really being committed to a program so much as being committed to yourself.
Yes, yes. And we talk about that a little bit. When I mentioned the word integrity, my body had lost its integrity, which affected how my integrity was coming across to myself, more importantly, but to others also. And so I knew I had to make a change because I'm not a person without integrity. Right. So that drove, sometimes it's different things that drive us. And yes, it was the COVID and the changes in my body, but the bottom line was the integrity issue. Yeah. That's really what drove that change in me going from the bedside or in the hospital to coaching. Coaching allowed me to have time to take care of my own health. And I had to just take a pause and do that. Yeah. And I did. I took a pause and focused on myself. Now, a lot of people don't have to do that. I've coached many people that we coached them through what they needed, and they didn't have to pause. COVID had just wrecked my body.
Well, it's like when you're going on a plane ride and the first thing they tell you is take care of yourself.
Yes. First. Put your oxygen on first.
And then you can help others.
Yes.
Same principle.
Yes. Same
right?
principle.
If you're not sound, how can you help anybody else?
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to put my own oxygen on first.
You have to be committed to yourself first.
Yes, you have to be committed. And part of our coaching teaches you how to do that. Because if you're out here and things are really out of balance, you're not being sometimes committed to yourself. Right. You're putting your commitment to others far above yourself. And that's what I said about bringing you along in that journey of life that you're taking. Yeah. Don't leave yourself at home while you go to work and do what you need to do. Bring you with you. Yeah.
Right.
Right. And that's presence. Again, that's what we're talking about too. When we're talking about presence. Bring your presence with you. Sometimes and I read a statistic about productivity and employees. It's like after COVID, productivity was like 20%, 20 to 30% in certain industries because there was so much burnout and so much disillusionment. Yeah. What happens during that time is you're just either exhausted to the place you can't be present, or you've had physical changes that affects your presence also. Yeah. So again, we go back to those 4 spheres. Let's assess and see where that is that's affecting your presence. Right. That's keeping you from staying true to yourself. That's keeping you from bringing yourself into every aspect of your life. Let's assess. Yes. And let's coach you to a better place.
So I just made that connection. What we did during the COVID pandemic was opposite of what we should have been doing.
Well, it was really hard on us because we're social creatures.
We cut that part out.
We cut that out. Yeah, because of the fear of transmission. We shut it down.
We were trying to protect the biological side, right? By shutting out the
social.
So it's complete disconnection.
Complete disconnection for a lot of people.
So which is going to wreck the psychological and the spiritual.
Right.
And then you're in this cycle.
Right. This like downward spiral cycle.
Right.
And I've talked to so many people who have had just that after COVID.
Yeah.
So our coaching will help you spiral this way.
Come back up.
Not this way.
Right.
Yeah. Right. And many people have suffered that after COVID.
Yes.
Our children especially. I know a practitioner in Lubbock that does QEEG. She looks at the brain waves. That's another thing that COVID flipped my brain waves. And I knew something was wrong, but I didn't know what it was until I went to Amen Clinics, and they looked at my brain and said, oh, here's what's going on. And they've done many scans of COVID patients. And they said, this is post-COVID you're suffering from. And here's a plan for you. They may be a plan. So I did the QEEG myself. And when the practitioner looked, she said, your brain's on fire. First of all, I hate to tell you this, but your brain's on fire.
Not in a good way.
Not in a good way. It's so inflamed that I can't even map your brain today.
Oh my gosh.
We're going to do I'm going to make some recommendations for you to get some of this inflammation down in your brain, because that was one of the effects COVID had on my brain. So I did that protocol, calmed everything down in my brain. And then she mapped my brain. And I didn't know what was wrong. As a hospice nurse, a lot of times our patients who were towards the end of life, they wanted to sleep all day and all night. They slept a lot. That's what I was doing. And I told my husband, am I dying? Because all I want to do is sleep around the clock. And when she mapped my brain, she laughed and she said, there's a reason you want to sleep around the clock. Because your delta waves, which are your sleep waves of your brain, are way up here 24/7.
They were dominating.
They were dominating everything. So we trained those waves back down to where they come up when they're supposed to and don't come up when they're not supposed to.
Get back in your natural
yes, got me rhythm. Back in my natural circadian rhythm.
Okay.
And so assessment is crucial. I mean, it's just crucial. And that plan is crucial. Anybody who's had COVID and is still suffering from any kind of thing like that, I will say Amen Clinic, when other practitioners could not help me, they're the people who helped me. And I was already studying under them, but I was amazed at the plan they gave me. It was comprehensive. It was holistic, and it has worked.
And that's the key, right?
It has worked.
It's worked. And not just for you personally, but you have clients that it's worked.
Right.
Right. Family members it's worked.
Yes. Yes.
All right. So this is a kind of a methodology that you apply.
Right.
Because everybody's different.
Right. Everybody is different. And when I say we assess those 4 domains, that's a good point. Everybody is different. And I will tell you, food plays a major role in your recovery also. And I will tell you, one man's food may be another man's poison. And that's fact. I have a granddaughter who is allergic to all tree nuts. She has an anaphylactic reaction to peanuts especially. And she could just walk in a room where a peanut butter jar has been open and have that anaphylactic breathe. She breathes that in. She has that anaphylactic reaction.
And that is something that's become very prominent over the last couple of decades.
Yes.
Because I remember when when we were growing up, that wasn't a thing.
It wasn't a thing.
And then all of a sudden, I have a daughter now, and she's going to school. I'm sitting there making her peanut butter, and she's like, "Dad, I can't have peanut butter." I was like, "What? What are you talking about?"
Yeah.
She's like, "No, they will get mad at me if I have peanut butter." I was like, "No way! You're kidding me. You just don't want peanut butter. Right? What do you want?"
No.
And she was like, "No, I can't take it to school."
Right.
If you give it to me,
there's too many kids that have those reactions.
She told
to
me,
it.
if you do that, I'm going to leave it in the car, Dad.
Yeah. Yep.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a thing.
It is a thing, and inflammation is a huge part of getting inflammation down. Let me say that, because a lot of our processed foods these days create lots of inflammation in our bodies. And so learning how to eat the foods that calm that inflammation down and keep it down, because that inflammation is at the root cause of something like 27 chronic diseases.
Mm.
We can relate it back to cellular inflammation.
Yeah.
And so the foods that we eat is incredibly important in healing every aspect of our bodies, but really in keeping that inflammation at a point, keep hopefully gone.
Yeah.
I know I was appalled with my first labs because my inflammation markers were like off the charts. This is right after I had COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh my goodness, never been that high. So I had a place to start. And that triggered the IIN certification because I was like, okay, let me go see what foods I can eat that will help in the long run, what lifestyle changes I can make
Yeah.
that will really bring about some real healing for me. Not just take a pill, not just,
Right.
not just do that, but really build some stamina and health back into my life.
And when you do take a pill now, it's purposeful.
Yes.
Yes.
It is purposeful.
You. Right. And you help with that by, you also read the labs, blood work.
Yes, I do.
Right. So that's something that you can really help with, like on the individual level.
Yes.
For instance, if I were to go get my labs, I show them to you and you were like, oh, you read them like, oh, well, you need to be taking more protein, more fish oil,
yeah.
And move, you need more oxygen, or I don't know what you're looking at, but all the markers.
Yeah, I look at those. My husband, 2 years ago, and I had just started my IIN classes then. He brought his labs home, and his practitioner had, and he's okay with me sharing this. I asked him, all the stories that I'm sharing here, I've asked permission. I'm not violating any kind of HIPAA because I've got the permission from people to talk about this. Awesome. So that's very important to me too. Sure. So I want people to know that too.
That's integrity.
Your HIPAA, your information is protected by HIPAA with us because we do not share that and would not ever share any of that without your permission. So anything I share today is shared with permission from the people that I'm talking about. But my husband came home and his kidney function, he was in almost a stage 2 kidney failure.
Wow.
And I told him, I said, and I looked at his meds, and he had a heart attack 2 months earlier. And so he was trying to recover from that. Yeah. And I said, let me look at your labs. Not just this, but show me the rest of your labs. And so he did. And I said, okay. And I knew what meds he was on. I said, there are several things I would like for you to go back to your doctor and ask him if he will do. Ask him if he'll cut your statin drug because you're working against yourself with that. I feel like it's too high. But ask him if he needs to talk to me. Tell him I'll come with you because my husband doesn't like for me to go with him to his doctor's appointments. He wants to fudge on everything if he can. He knows if I'm there, I'm going to be going, no. So I didn't go with him, but we tweaked. I worked with his doctor and we tweaked different things. But the biggest thing we tweaked was his diet. We changed his diet to a kidney-friendly diet. And so his practitioner agreed to do labs every 3 months. And at 6 months, we'd reassess everything altogether. And at 6 months, all of the signs of his kidney disease, his function was normal. And so diet plays a huge role in your overall health. It absolutely does. Yeah. I'm not a dietitian, but I am a nurse of 28 years. I would never hold myself out to be a dietitian. And if you already work with a dietitian, I absolutely will work with your practitioner to tweak and get things to where you need them to be. Yeah. But having said that, I will say I will make recommendations on lifestyle changes. I'll give you healthy recipes based on what your needs are. I'll share those with you and teach you things about foods and what compounds are in them and what they actually do for your body. That's the knowledge that we bring. Then you have to decide if that's for you or not. And we're not ever going to tell you to do something if we know, like my husband, it was really hard for him to give up some of the foods that I told him, this can just be not on your list of foods to eat. Or sodas was the main thing. You just, with your kidneys, you have to treat them well. Yeah. Treat them well. And sodas are not treating them well. So just there were a few that I did speak to a dietitian about. She said, well, if he just can't give them up, tell him to drink ginger ale, which he loves.
Mm-hmm.
So he drank ginger ale and root beer.
Huh.
She said those will be the least damaging to
Really?
his kidneys.
Even though it still has carbonation.
Even though it still had all of that in it. She said this will be, now he gave those up, not for his kidneys, but because they still had the sugar in them, he was trying to lose weight.
Yeah.
So he gave those up because he's like, this is just going against everything I'm trying to do. Yeah. So he did give those up. And but it's just incredibly important to know what you can and what's actually going to help you and what's going to hurt you.
Right.
One man's medicine is another man's poison.
So who's the first ancient physician who coined something similar to that? It was let your food be thy medicine, or
I believe that was Hippocrates.
Hippocrates, right? Or your medicine will be your food.
Right. Yeah. Right. Your medicine will be your food. Yeah. That's how I believe he said it.
Yeah. So I mean, it's the truest thing that, in the medical,
it is,
right?
Yeah.
What you put in is what you get out.
And this is not new knowledge. Right. We've known this forever. Mm-hmm. Here's what's different in our society today. Our processed foods, some of these food industries spend billions of dollars for the taste that hits our tongue, that rings that little dopamine bell in our brain, that makes us bet you can't eat just one.
Right.
That makes us not be able to just eat one.
Right.
And so it's like being aware that that's part of that industry and what they're selling you.
Yeah.
And then we call it crowding out those foods that are not good for you and not healthy for you with more healthy choices.
Right.
You may be traveling sometimes, and if you don't pack your own food and take your own food, you may not be able to do that. Although Tana Amon says she travels all the time and she always takes her own food. So, but if you're a person who's not there yet, what we teach you is how to read a food label, how to pick the healthier choices that are available to you. So you're not just crashing your whole body during that time. And so we can teach you how to do that.
Because it is easy to fall off that way.
It is, especially when you're traveling.
Yes.
We found that to be one of our challenges. Now, I pack food now for us. Usually it's raw vegetables. We love carrots and celery and bell peppers and cucumbers. And I just clean and bag those, and we put them in a cooler, and we love hummus. So I put hummus in there. I think all the good healthy stuff. And cheeses, if you can eat cheese. Some of us cannot eat the dairy. Dairy is one of those foods that we find is a major offender to some people. To some people it's not, though.
Right.
So one of us can eat cheese and one of us cannot. But I pack the cheese for the one that can.
Right.
And then lots of water. Lots of water.
Water.
Water. Water is absolutely wonderful for your body. Half your body weight in ounces a day. That's a good rule of thumb.
Half your body weight.
Half your body weight.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah. You know what helped me? And I have a special needs daughter, and she has a caregiver that comes to the house and helps her. And she's wonderful. And she was watching me trying to get my water in every day, and I couldn't do it. And they brought me a 40-ounce Stanley cup. I don't know if you've seen those or not. Huge. They've got the big handle. It's huge. It's got the big handle. And I thought, I am not going to carry that big old. Listen, that cup changed my world, my water world, because I can fill that thing up 2 times a day and drink it. It keeps my water very cold all day long. And it was an easy solution. And I told her, thank you very much for doing that for me, because I would measure it out in my pitcher and I'd try to, and she was watching me. And I thought, here's she's coaching me, the coach, to be successful in that. And it was wonderful. But I had hesitated to do that because it was so big. The handle is so comfortable on that thing that it made it doable for me. And there's whatever works for people.
Yes, I was going to say.
If it doesn't work for you, we'll make suggestions to you for something that will work for you.
Yeah.
And she just was wonderful. She just came in and she made that observation. And she said, I love my cup. Don't you want one of these? And I said, no. She'd asked me and I was like, no, it's big. I don't want that big a cup. Well, she just went and bought me one anyway and brought it to me. And once I used it, I was like, oh, I'm sold.
Yeah. Got it.
Easy way to get my water in and not have to measure and put a picture and do all the stuff I was doing. She streamlined that, and that was a good thing for me.
For sure.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to be adapting and learning from wherever you can.
And I did learn from her, and she's on her own health journey too. I am actually helping her with her health journey, and she just made that observation, and I said, "Wonderful! I just thank you."
Yes. Yeah.
She said, "Well, you're always doing it for me. I'm going to give back to you."
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah, and so that was yes. You have to learn. You have to be open to learning. And if something's not working, you have to be flexible enough to try something new.
Yes. And
we will make those suggestions to you as coaches. I had one client that he was just like, oh, I can't do that. I was like, okay, well, let's talk about that. So we had to look at the obstacles. It was just too radical a change from his traditional thinking about things. And so we dug into that a little bit. And there was some, I would say, false beliefs in there that was really blocking him from adapting healthier lifestyle measures that was going to really benefit him in the long run. And he was finally able to do that. But we kind of dissected that and took, teased some of that out, if you will, by just asking the questions and going back and kind of taking that deep dive. And that was the biological part. There was some things that he didn't want to give up, and he thought he was going to be deprived. And so we do not teach a deprivation mindset. We teach a crowding out of the bad with abundance of the better.
Yes.
And so we don't believe in deprivation. It is crucial that you don't feel like you're being deprived. And so we do not ascribe to a deprivation mindset, quite the opposite.
Right.
We teach abundance and abundance of the good things.
Yes. Right.
Oh.
So talking about the teaching aspect.
Yes.
You have some teaching opportunities coming up.
We do. We do.
Tell us about what you have going on in Best Brain and Body.
Okay. So in January, we are starting our Lunch and Learn. It will be here at BAM Biz Hub in the conference room. We have enough seats for 10 people.
Okay, that's right.
We'll be teaching you about setting your goals and how to stick with those goals. First of the year, people make New Year's resolutions. And a lot of times by the end of the month, you're off those and you haven't kept those. Yeah. So we have a method that we teach that helps you figure out how to stay on course with your goals.
Yeah.
So that Lunch and Learn will be all of January, starting the second Wednesday, the first, January 10th. And it will be for 45 minutes because we know people are working. So, and we have 10 slots. That's all we have available to teach. What comes with that is the class. You'll get a goodie bag with that. You'll get access to our Facebook group coaching page. And the cost associated with the class, if you sign up for coaching or another class with us, gets rolled back into that package.
Okay.
So there'll be a minimal charge at the beginning, $10. If you come to all 4 of the classes, that's $40. That'll get rolled back into your coaching package.
Now, do these classes, are they going to build on each other?
They will.
Okay.
They will.
So it behooves them to attend every one.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. Because it is a process that we're teaching. And so, yes, it's good. Now, we'll review for a little bit, but 45 minutes is a small amount of time to go. But we have kind of adapted the class so that we can meet those goals within those 4 weeks.
They're getting some value out of each one.
Right. You're getting value out of each one.
And how do they sign up for it? How do they get involved?
Our link is on our website to sign up for this class, or you can email me at Jeanette@bestbrainandbody.com.
Okay. And the website is
It's bestbrainandbody.com.
bestbrainbody.com. There you
Yeah,
go. And
yeah.
social, you have social medias?
I do. I am on Facebook. You can also reach out on Facebook or IM me and say, hey, I heard about your class that you're teaching, your Lunch and Learn in January.
Sign me
Want
up.
to sign me up?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and both you have Facebook, you have Instagram. What do you have?
I don't have Instagram yet. I
So
have Facebook.
Okay.
And I'm on LinkedIn. You can send me an email request on LinkedIn and I'll get it there too because I check that pretty frequently too.
Okay. Under your personal.
On Jeanette Frantz.
Jeanette Frantz.
Mhm.
Okay. LinkedIn and Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
LinkedIn and Facebook.
Yeah, so I think that what you offer is valuable and needed, for everybody.
Yeah.
But if you're really looking to get on track,
yeah,
and become the best version of yourself,
right?
It's not just the one pathway, there's
No.
just the whole gamut
yeah.
of things that can be done, and
right.
It's why not get the help of a coach?
Yeah, right. I have my own coach.
There you go.
I when I got the plan from Amen Clinics, it was for a coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I signed up. I did every aspect because I was ready. Let me tell you, I was ready to get over what COVID had done to me. And so I have my own coach. I finished my program this month.
Congratulations.
Thank you. At the end of December, she told me last week, I think you're there.
Good to
so
know.
I am delighted to say
Awesome.
that coaching works.
Yeah, for sure.
It does. And I have my own, and it has been incredibly valuable to me. It's been worth every penny that I have put into that, into myself.
Yes, because you're committed.
I invested in myself with coaching, and I committed to everything she told me to do. I committed to do it. Now, I have to say this, after COVID, I was committed, but I had to go back sometimes and recapture some of that because change doesn't happen like this.
No.
If you look at a graph about how change happens, it's kind of like this.
Yes.
Always with the upward motion, but you have the dips.
Mm-hmm.
And then you come back up and you might have a little dip. That's the way real change happens. We're not going to tell you it's like this.
Right.
That would not be true.
No. So there's that example of that video where they have two steel bearings and one of them just has a straight path down.
Right.
And the other one has a immediate drop off and it comes up and down.
Right.
Well, the one with the drops gets there to the end faster than the one with the straight path.
Right. That's exactly right. That is exactly right.
So it's just like you have to, it is, because if you're moving, like just like a fish swims, it's creating some resistance on one side to propel it, and resistance propel.
That's exactly right.
And that's
a great analogy.
That's what pushes forward.
Yeah, that's what pushes us forward.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Well, Jeanette, it's been a pleasure learning about you and Best Brain and Body. Is there anything that you would like to tell? Because people listening right now, they're entrepreneurs. That's the crowd. You're an entrepreneur. You're making your passion your business. And it goes along to when people ask me, hey, what's the best kind of business to start right now? My go-to answer is, what's your passion?
That's right.
What is your purpose?
That's right.
If you know what your passion and purpose is, or where your heart resides, then you can find something that's going to make you money.
That's right.
You can pay your bills and then some. If you're moving, and then when you wake up in the morning, you're not dreading to get out there. You're not dreading to go punch a clock for someone else. You're like excited. You're you're committed.
Right.
And that's your passion. So in your lane, in your passion right now, what do you have any last words for our audience?
Yes, I would say this. There's no better investment than the one you make in yourself.
Yes.
It will give you the greatest returns on every area of your life. Make the commitment to yourself to invest in yourself, because you will get great and lasting returns.
ROI.
That's exactly
Let's
right.
put it in entrepreneur terms.
Right.
Because we all know what that means.
ROI.
Return on your investment.
Right. Don't leave you at home when you walk out the door. And I can tell you from starting a small business, we have a tendency to work all hours.
Yeah, 100%.
We sometimes can overdo it, but make sure as you're doing that you're building in self-care.
Yes.
Too.
Throughout.
Yeah. It may be a 20-minute walk outside, a break from the screen to just sit back and breathe deeply and listen to some relaxing music.
Yeah.
It may be, oh, wow, I forgot my water. Let me get it.
Yeah.
Whatever that self-care is and that keeps you present, don't leave it out.
Yeah.
It is crucial for your success and for your well-being.
Yeah, because if you do take the time, right, to care for yourself, instead of doing this 24/7 hustle grind mode, right? The what mentality is being pushed out there, the culture now, right? Well, if you actually do take the time for yourself to take the time out, you're more productive, even though you're probably actually applying less hours.
That is true. That is true. Absolutely true. And there's research to support that.
Yes.
Angel, there is. A lot of people have a hard time believing that, but it is absolutely true.
Yeah. So that's probably a great word too. Angel here with the BAM Entrepreneurial Center. I've got a burning question for all you dedicated business owners out there, especially if you're in the oil and gas service sectors. You know who you are, the ones who genuinely care about giving your customers an unforgettable experience and who understand the real goal behind every hardworking employee. Do your employees' days often feel like an endless juggling act, trying to stay on top of everything? Do you ever feel swamped trying to get customers updated about their equipment or the job they've entrusted with you? If the chaos feels overwhelming and you're searching for that magic touch to get everything running smoothly as possible, well, I've got some exciting news for you guys. Drum roll, please. Bam! Workflow Wizard is here. Now, it's not just a tool, it's your business companion. With just a few clicks, you'll see the change. Streamlined business processes, soaring efficiency, reduced errors. And the best part, when your operations thrive, well, guess what? So do your profit margins. And that's what it's about.
Hi, my name is Melissa Romo. I'm the owner of West Texas Pressure Testing, an inspection and recertification company. We inspect customers' equipment to make sure they can continue using it properly for whatever business purpose. The BAM Workflow Wizard has really helped me take my business to the next level because I am able to offer our customers online access 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to the charts that we provide them after their inspection. This has really made everything so much easier because they don't have to call us anymore to get a chart. They don't have to worry about losing paper copies or USBs. And so now whoever runs the operations or has control of the equipment has a way to easily access those charts. As well as for us, we have a very organized and accessible record of these charts. And it has really brought us up to par on technology with some of the bigger competitors in our industry. So it's been a really helpful tool and I look forward to growing my business with it.
Want to see the magic in action? Dive in with BAM Workflow Wizard and let's revolutionize the way you work. So give me a call today, 432-247-8841, 247-8841. And let's get your operations running smooth like that beautiful, sweet Texas black gold. See you soon. For all our 24/7 hustlers, go get it done till the end of time, nonstop, no sleep.
That's the worst thing you could do. Worst thing you could do is cheat your sleep.
Don't cheat your sleep. Yeah. Oh, what was it? I forgot who it was years ago. It was a presidential debate. Ron Paul. They asked him, "How do you prepare? Are you studying notes?" And he was like, "No, I get a good night's sleep."
Yeah. Protein for breakfast and a good night's sleep.
There you go. The cornerstones. Productivity.
Yeah, absolutely.
And water.
And water. Get your water in. Yeah. I will say this about sleep. We may think we're cheating sleep. It always comes back to catch up.
Yeah.
And they say the research says you can't catch up.
I've heard that.
You cannot catch up. But you will pay in other ways.
Yeah.
If you cheat your sleep.
Right.
And that's when the body heals. I don't know if people know that or not.
Yeah.
But that's when the brain is like their little cleanup crew comes in, if you will. And all the waste products of the brain, the cleanup crew comes in, cleans all that up.
Yeah.
Your memories are actually recorded into the long part of your brain that stores your long-term memory. So sleep is incredibly important.
It's when it downloads from the short term to the long term.
Right. Absolutely. Yeah. And so don't cheat your sleep.
Don't cheat your sleep. Yeah. So there you go, guys. You want to be a productive entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Don't cheat your sleep.
Yeah. keep integrity with yourself by keeping your sleep.
There you go. Thank
Yeah.
you very much. It was a pleasure. having
Thank you,
Jeanette.
Angel. Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure
Absolutely.
on my part too. I
Well-
appreciate you.
We'll do it again.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.